Since ancient times, humans have looked up at the stars, pondering our place in the universe. We search for meaning, for purpose, for understanding in a world that often seems indifferent to our existence. Some find comfort in religion, others in tradition. But what happens when we confront the possibility that the universe is simply void of any inherent meaning or preordained purpose? This is the unsettling territory explored by existentialism, a philosophy that emphasizes individual freedom, responsibility, and the search for meaning in an absurd world. The French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre is a key figure in the existentialist tradition. Born from the ashes of World War II, Sartre's work grapples with the darkest aspects of the human experience: war, violence, and the constant threat of nothingness. Yet amidst this bleak landscape, Sartre finds a glimmer of hope. For in the face of existential meaninglessness, we are also free to create our own values and live authentically. At the heart of Sartre's philosophy lies the revolutionary idea that existence precedes essence. This seemingly simple phrase has profound implications for our understanding of what it means to be human. In traditional philosophy, essence precedes existence. We are born into a world with a predefined nature and purpose. Take a chair, for example. Its essence, its chairness, is determined before its existence. The chair is designed with a specific form and function. Sartre argues that humans are fundamentally different. We're not born with a predefined nature or purpose. We are not like chairs, prefabricated for a specific role. Instead, we are thrust into existence, free to define ourselves through our actions and choices. We exist first, and only then through our choices and actions do we create our essence. This freedom, however exhilarating, comes at a steep price: responsibility. If we are truly free to define ourselves, then we are fully responsible for the choices we make and the consequences that follow. This radical responsibility can be overwhelming. We cannot blame God, society, or our parents for our failures. We are, as Sartre famously wrote, condemned to be free. This responsibility extends beyond our individual lives. Since there are no pre-existing moral laws or absolute truths, in Sartre's view, we are also responsible for creating values not just for ourselves, but for all of humanity. Every decision we make contributes to the world we live in. This realization can be both empowering and terrifying, highlighting the weight of our actions in a world seemingly devoid of external meaning. Part 4. Bad Faith. The Seduction of Self-Deception. In the face of freedom's immense responsibility, it is tempting to seek refuge in self-deception. Sartre calls this bad faith. It's a way of denying our freedom and avoiding the anxiety that comes with it. We pretend that we are not responsible for our choices, that we are merely products of our circumstances or biology. We might adopt social roles, conform to expectations, or cling to deterministic views of the world, all in an attempt to evade the burden of freedom. But for Sartre, bad faith is ultimately a form of self-deception. It is a refusal to acknowledge our own agency and the infinite possibilities that lie before us. Part 5. Being in itself and being for itself, consciousness and the material world. To understand Sartre's concept of bad faith, we need to delve into his distinction between being in itself and being for itself. Being in itself, as the name suggests, simply is. It represents the inert, unconscious existence of things in the world: a rock, a tree, a table. These things possess being in itself. They have no consciousness, no freedom, no possibility of changing what they are. Humans, on the other hand, are characterized by being for itself. We are conscious beings, aware of ourselves and the world around us. We have the capacity to think, to imagine, to project ourselves into the future. This consciousness, this nothingness at the heart of our being, is what gives us the freedom to define ourselves and escape the deterministic world of being in itself. Part 6. Existential Encounters, the other as mirror and threat. Our existence as free beings unfolds in a world alongside other free beings, and this, for Sartre, is where things get really interesting. The existence of the other throws a wrench into our self-perceptions and forces us to confront our freedom in new and often uncomfortable ways. Imagine you're walking down the street, lost in thought, and suddenly you catch someone staring at you. In that moment, you become aware of yourself as an object in their consciousness, and your carefully constructed self-image can crumble under the weight of their gaze. This encounter with the other can be both illuminating and unsettling. It reveals the limits of our self-perceptions and highlights the fact that our freedom is always negotiated within the context of other, equally free individuals.